Hi, so thank you for offering to be on my little YouTube channel. I think we're going to talk about volunteering and why that's important. I think it's incredibly important. I'll just make a quick comment. I spent most of my life volunteering for one cause or another. Right now, this channel doesn't make me any money because we have to serve humanity. I think it's important to serve humanity to have any self-esteem. And so, as a man, there's especially in the West, we have a crisis of masculinity because we haven't had defined to us what masculinity is, I think. And as men, we need to serve. Like, I loved the movie The Last Samurai. I don't know if you watched it with Tom Cruise.
I've not watched it, but I do know. I do
Right.
know of it.
And the samurai apparently means to serve, right? And that's a very important part of being a man. If we're not doing that, we lose self-esteem and we don't feel masculine. We don't feel we have our place in the world. And that gives us strength to do other things like be good at our jobs. If we're not feeling good about ourselves, we won't be good at our jobs or even lead families or have families and have kids and so many other things. What are your thoughts?
I think for me, not only from a masculine point of view, I think just as a human being point of view, serving someone else or giving your time, because I mean, at the end of the day, money, power, fame, whatever, is only limited, it can be infinite, whereas your time is the most valuable commodity. So giving that to someone else I feel like that's the most valuable thing you can do, and the most, I suppose, selfless, because again, at the end of the day, you only have your time on this planet, so giving that up to someone through whatever sort of avenue of volunteering, whether that's helping a food bank, volunteering at a kids sports centre, something like that, just giving that time to someone is really impactful, not only for them but also for yourself. So personally, on a Sunday afternoon, I volunteer at Additional Supports Needs Sports Group. So I've been doing that for about 7 years now, and I feel like just that alone has sort of made me grow as a person massively, and has brought me out of my comfort zone, has taught me a lot of skills, how to speak to people, how to take your time and be patient with someone, and from that I feel like it's made me an infinitely better person. And it's definitely something that whenever like any of my friends have struggled, they've not been feeling great, that's something that I've recommended to them, would be volunteering, because I think helping someone helps you. And even though on the tin volunteering is helping someone else, is more helping you. So yeah,
I totally agree with everything you said because I've been as a Muslim and part of a general Muslim community that aims to help everybody, not just Muslims. I've been doing it since I was maybe 6-7 years old until now, and every day in my life I feel bad if I'm not doing something that doesn't make money but serves humanity. And when you have that mental training, you do your work well and people recommend you, it's like, oh, people go, oh, okay, you're really good at your job, we're going to get you to do more. So I'm bringing it back to money because people are interested in money. But I totally agree with so much of what you said. Like you improve in your social skills, your communication skills, patience. And if you have more patience, you're going to be better in your relationships.
yeah,
Right? And I find so many people are low in self-esteem that, they're not comfortable with how they look, for example. And why would people not be comfortable in how they look when I believe in God. God is an absolute amazing artist. We all look beautiful. But if you don't have inner value, then no amount of outer value will make you feel good. So I'm sort of reiterating so much of what you said. There was another thing you just said that I think this links to. You said this is your first day walking around London. You're from Scotland, and you noticed that people are like individuals rather than groups.
Yeah.
Now there are some places in the outskirts of London. If you go to a park, they're kind of in groups, but actually they're separate from the rest of the community. There might be like a group of 3 in a family or something, right? That's absolutely true. One of the biggest killers, or probably the biggest killer, indirect killer, in London is loneliness. So people have neighbours, but they won't talk to them. They won't go to each other's house. When they say, "How are you?" they don't really wait for the answer or concerned for the answer. It's a really important question that we care about each other, and I think that's built into us as human beings. We're social beings. If we don't connect socially at a deep level, no amount of money makes us happy. How do you do? So in short, I suppose if I ask you a question, the question would be something like, does volunteering make you a better person so you're less lonely?
I would say volunteering gives you a different perspective on things. So I don't know who said the quote or whatever, but if everyone threw their problems into a pile, everyone would pick up their problems because they would see everyone has their own problems and they're a lot worse. And I think every problem that you get given, you can deal with. It just takes time and some support. And I feel like that's the main thing about volunteering, is you get that perspective on someone else's life is difficult. And if you're in a position where you can be the volunteer, then you're probably in a position where there is someone that is struggling more than you. Not to compare different struggles, but you can get through it. And yeah, I feel like I've went on a tangent there.
No, I'm listening to everything you're saying, and I think it's really deep and wise. For example, you said like when you listen to other people's problems, you realize your problems aren't the worst.
Yeah.
There's the oldest saying, like you might hear, like think about the people in Africa. But it's not really. I think I've been to Africa, and a lot of them are happier as well. That's not exact. But the point is that if you see people with like in Islam, we're told that if you want to not disrespect the blessings you've had from God, what you do, instead of looking at people more than you, look at people who have got less than you, which is kind of what you're talking about. When you talk to other people and you listen to other people, you find out they have a lot of problems, and maybe their problems are worse than yours, right? But also, I'm not sure if you quite said this, but I had this sense, right, when you were saying, like, when you're helping people out, you kind of said it actually, literally, you're actually helping yourself.
100%.
Like, I love making videos about helping people and sharing wisdom, and when I'm helping people and sharing whatever I knew, I remind myself of solutions that I need myself. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm giving people advice, I'm benefiting because I'm remembering that I need to do that same thing even more, even though I kind of knew it. But sometimes I think God is talking through us all the time. That's my experience. The more you kind of go with the flow, you will feel God more and more. And when I talk, I don't plan exactly what I'm going to say. I expect God to help me, right? And I think when I'm helping people, I'm saying things that I need, and God is telling me that I need to do as well. So there's all this kind of wisdom out there, and when we work together and talk together and do good things and go with the flow, all sorts of good things come back to us. What goes round comes around, maybe.
Yeah, literally. I've got a question for you. So you're a good orator. Do you think speaking is the way that you get your best ideas out, or do you think writing or some other form of communication is the best way for you to get these ideas out that you're saying come from God, essentially?
I think it's a bit of everything. So writing helps you clarify your ideas. Speaking in Islam is a sign of the beauty of a believer. And why shouldn't it be? Because if you are getting truth from somewhere and then you practice that truth, then that truth becomes internalized and you can express it really easily. And then what happens is that your awareness should just become like higher and higher, so that the solutions of the world become more and more obvious. Like the more you become spiritual, the more the solutions for your problems and other people will become obvious, and then you sound like a good orator only because the truth is becoming more obvious. That's all that's happening. It's a process.
Practice. Yeah. What about, so for volunteering, so we were talking about volunteering, if someone was wanting to get started, where would you recommend they get started?
I think there's so many problems all over the place. Yeah. You could talk to your neighbor first of all. If there is, I think there's loads of organizations. You talk Soup Kitchen, whatever. There's lots of religious organizations that, like, Muslims are doing things, Christians are doing things all over the place. For example, people might not be aware, but Muslims, Christians, and Jews are actually very close to each other. I've been to churches, synagogues, whatever. It's not a problem for me because it's all from the same source. So I could be nice to people there, here, or anywhere, right? I'm big on interfaith, for example. So I think there's so many problems out there that there's plenty of people to help.
Yeah.
And I think also in Islam, our first duty is to the people who are closest to us. That's where God has put. So, for example, our duty is to our parents. So and they probably need our help in some ways,
Yeah.
even just to listen to us. Like, we might have, between the generations, we might have very different perspectives, but isn't it our duty to be kind to them and listen to them, whatever they've got to say, that kind of thing, and there's no small thing that's not important.
I think another thing to keep in mind when you're saying parents, especially, is everyone's doing life for the first time. So, especially as a child, obviously your parents are your role models, well, ideally, and then they can do no wrong. And then when you start to grow up, all they can do is wrong. But you need to realise everyone is just doing life for the first time. So everyone needs that support every now and then.
See, I think just in this conversation, I feel like you're becoming, I don't want to say you weren't wise already, but you're just sounding wiser and wiser, because that's what happens. So in Islam, we're told that believers are like two knives that sharpen each other, right? I know chefs do that kind of thing. You don't normally see that in big normal kitchens, right? But you can sharpen one knife with another knife, right? We affect each other, we influence each other by sharing wisdom. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to be fair, that's why I came over. So I don't know if your camera is going to capture this, but over here it's a lot more of a dialogue going on, whereas over that side of Speaker's Corner is a bit more of a shouting match, literally. So that's why I came over here, for that dialogue.
Yeah, you were searching for truth and good conversation, and I appreciate you came here. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there is a lot of showmanship amongst the big YouTubers, and because I used to come here for a long time, and I moved to the Middle East now, so I totally agree with you. There's a lot of that, but on the kind of lower levels, there are people who are like listening in and pay attention, and it's really interesting. There is a bit of a community here, but there are some noisy people who get all the attention, but they don't represent everybody. Any more questions? Then I'll wind it up.
More questions?
Oh, it doesn't have to. We can wind it up like that. I really appreciate that you gave your time, and hopefully this video will benefit some people.
Hopefully it can inspire at least one person to volunteer, even in a small way, like you were saying, speaking to a neighbour or something. You don't have to change the world, you know. You can change one person.
I love that so much, because you're quoting essentially something from both the Quran and the Bible. And when I say the Bible, you can say the Old Testament, because the Jews believe in also, which is I get emotional sometimes. I might even start crying if I quote it sometimes. But if you save one life, it's like saving all of humanity. It's a beautiful thing. And the Quran actually says, we reiterate this teaching from the Bible, that you just save one person. And so how is it that you save people by volunteering? Their lives completely change. Their internal turmoil of being alone and not knowing what to do with their lives and having no direction. If they start volunteering, I think any good thing leads to more good things. So hopefully that will happen. So
100%.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.